Elana, remember what I told you. Until you turn 20, never show your beauty or your talents.
For 15 years I have lived by my mother's final words. I made myself look plain and acted like I knew nothing, just to blend into the background. But today was my 20th birthday, and I was ready to let go of the old Elana and showcase my true self. I filled the tub with warm water, added some bath salts, and set my makeup remover nearby. Just as I started undressing for a long, relaxing soak to wash off the ugly makeup, a loud knock ruined the peace. Melody Ahmed, the maid, stood there, nose in the air as usual. Elana, what are you sneaking around in here for? It's Miss Jones' wedding day. If you don't show up, people will start whispering and potentially tarnish the Jones family's image. Go to the front hall, now. This maid had never been polite to me. Saying I sneaked around was hardly accurate. Truthfully, I had been pushed into that back room for 15 years since my mother's death. After my mother's passing, my stepmother, Kiara Jones, and her daughter with my father, Paige Jones, wasted no time joining the Jones family and took over everything. The worst part? Not even my father, Darren Jones, treated me the way I deserved. I'll go change, I said calmly. Melody scoffed. What's the point? With that ugly face of yours, no dress can save you. Move it. The Evans family's already here. The City Hall staff members are on site to collect the materials to register the marriage between Mr. Evans and Miss Jones. Mrs. Jones wants everyone present for the big moment. My lips curled into a cold smile. Guess it wasn't the time to show my true face. The Evans family was the most powerful in Ublento. Cole Evans, their heir, was a business genius. Paige was the city's favorite socialite. Of course, their engagement was all over the news. People called them a perfect couple. Every compliment in the book was used to describe them. Social media was going wild. Everyone in the room wore elegant outfits. I stood out like a sore thumb in a cheap blue tank top, ripped jeans, and hideous makeup. I didn't just clash with the scene, I crashed it. Kiara was chatting with Cole's grandfather, Reuben Evans. When I walked in, Kiara paused and then put on her usual fake smile. Elana, I got you a beautiful new dress. Why didn't you wear it? Hello, Mr. Evans.
Well, Elana, you've certainly got your own style these days.
I ran a hand through my messy wig. I hadn't expected him to be so tolerant. At least he wasn't calling me a disaster. My eyes naturally drifted to the man beside Reuben. I'd noticed him the moment I stepped in. From his posture and presence, I could tell this had to be Cole, the mysterious heir rarely seen in public. Seeing him up close was something else. Tall, sharp, and ridiculously handsome. He looked like he'd stepped straight out of a romance novel. I couldn't help staring just a little too long. A voice spoke loud on purpose. Look at Elana.